Hello and welcome back to another interview for Project Seed Money. I am so excited today to be joined with Paula Banks, who is the founder and CEO of EION Books, as well as an author herself. Please help me welcome Paula. Welcome, Paula. Thank you so much for being here. I am really, truly grateful for your time and your contribution to my community. So thank you for being here.
Very welcome. I'm so glad that you thought of me to have me on the show.
Yes, I actually found you through another publisher's thread where you had posted like your name, and I immediately went and followed you there. And I found that you were a children's book writer, and that was so encouraging. So I wanted to just like jump right in, and maybe we can talk about how your writing process has been. Was there moments where you just couldn't get to writing or that you struggled through the process? Because our goal here is to encourage women who are kind of on that fence, but they just can't quite get that leap that they need.
Yes, I always knew that I wanted to be a writer in high school. That was in the cards for me to be an author or doing something with my writing. But life happened. I got married. I have two sons. So that was kind of put on the back burner. And I would just write here and there. I would journal. But then as my kids got older, they're 21, one is going to be 23. I have a lot of time on my hands. They don't really need me as much as they did before. I work a full-time job. I'm married to my husband, and I just wanted to do something that was fulfilling. I still have a page on Instagram where I do a lot of thrifting, like thrifted clothes and stuff. I loved it, but then it wasn't fun anymore. It seemed like a job. So I kind of fell away from that. And then something kept saying, you need to write a book, you need to write. And I was like, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. I'm too old. I mean, there was every excuse in the book. And then one day my husband was like, what are you going to do? Are you going to do this or not? Because you should do this. Like, what are you going to do? And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to jump in. So I just jumped in and I didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue, stumbled my way through it. But I said, if I can get this book out, even if it's not perfect, even if mistakes are made, then I know I can do it. And then I can build off of that. And the second book, I can fix all my wrongs. And I was able to do it. And then that was like, if I can do this, and I know that I can do it moving forward. And I did it. And I didn't. So if you're on the fence, I promise you, just do it. I'm almost 47, and it took me so many years to finally write and publish a book, but I can finally say that I actually did it and I'm doing it. So don't think about all the things that can go wrong. Just think like, whatever happens, I can get it done. And if it's wrong, I'll fix it in the next go around. So yeah, just don't sit on the fence too long because your chance might pass you by and then you won't be able to go back to it. So if it's there, do it. Do it. Definitely.
Absolutely. I absolutely love that advice. And it really is what it comes down to is we have all these thoughts and all these goals, and then we just sit and they just sit. And at some point you kind of, for me, like get sick of my own crap. And like, I have to take the next step forward.
You got to take the next step because what are you doing? I mean, you're going to just keep sitting here saying all the things that are like, what could happen? But what if you just did it and like amazing things happen? So you just have to take that chance. And it's scary, especially when you get older. You're just like, but I'm so glad that I did. I'm so glad that I did. Definitely.
What was the timeline like for you as far as when you decided, okay, I am going to do this? And then how long was that to come to actual fruition?
So I would say I wrote my first children's book. It was months, maybe I'll say like August of last year. And I didn't do anything with it. I did it and I kept it moving. And then maybe in October, my husband was like, so are you going to try to get it illustrated? And I was like, yeah, I guess so. So I found somebody to illustrate it. They did the illustrations. It sat again. And then in December, my husband, that's when he was like, what are you going to do? And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. So on my board I have for the beginning of the year, like one of those things was publish my first book. And it happened in February. So it happened really soon, really quickly. So February 4th, my book was published. But like, I literally just like every step of the way, I dragged my feet. Like, oh, okay, I'll do this. And then I stopped. And then my husband would be like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, okay. So it could have happened a lot sooner, but I still wasn't fully like on board because I still had those thoughts like, What are you doing? You're 46. You're halfway to the grave by now. Like, what are you doing? Time has passed you by. I knew that if I didn't try, that I would regret it somewhere down the line. So that's why I was like, I'm going to do it. And I did it and I'm doing it. I don't have all the answers. I promise you, I'm not perfect, but I have learned a lot from the first book to what I'm doing now to release my second book. But yeah, it's like different stages. I didn't know. I tried to upload my book to like Amazon. That was very discouraging. Very, very, very discouraging. I didn't think it was going to be that complicated. I thought, I get the book, like follow the steps, the prompts. No, not at all. And I was like, I can't do this. It's way too much. And then I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can find somebody to help me. And I did that. And that was like the best thing that I could have ever did. Because when you're doing something and you like, I'm going to do it myself, self-publishing your books, you like to do that because you have control over the whole entire process. So asking for help was like, I need to learn how to do this. But some things you just have to be like, you know what? There's people who are more well versed in certain areas. Let them do it. And I'm glad that I did, because that could have literally stopped me in my tracks from moving forward. But I found someone and I was able to get it done. But yeah, it's been a journey. Definitely has been one.
Did you end up going the hybrid publishing route or
Yeah.
traditional publishing?
I just did it by myself. Like I didn't have a publisher or anything. I just went on Amazon. I found somebody who was an expert in uploading and formatting the book. Things I didn't even think of. As a writer, you just think about writing the book. That's it. Like you're not thinking about the marketing and how I'm going to get the book on Amazon and how it needs to be formatted. And they have these questions about what size. And you're like, oh my God. So that was a shock. Definitely. The writing process was the easiest part of it. Because that's the fun part.
Creative aspect, the parts that we like. Right.
Yeah. After the fact, there's a whole nother realm of things that you have to do to make this book, to get this book to the final stage after the writing. So for me, the writing was just the easy aspect of it. It always is because I like to write. But learning along the way, it's been eye-opening, just the things that I didn't even think of, the little nuances that I didn't think of. And, like formatting the book. I didn't even think about formatting the book. Like it has to be formatted. What's the size you want? Like you got to tell the illustrator, like, what's the size? And I'm just like, all these questions coming at me because it's only me.
Yeah.
So I did learn a lot. I did. I've been taking notes. I'm watching other people. I'm signing up for every, like self-publishing checklist or just things just so I can make sure that I'm not missing anything. And I probably am, and I'll probably learn that for my third book. But it's definitely a learning process. It definitely has been a learning process.
I'm only laughing because the video that will come out directly before this video. So this video will be out 1 week after a video I just made called All the Mistakes I've Made as an Author and a Publisher. And it ended up being 17 minutes long of just like me listing, I didn't know trim size. I didn't know cost. I didn't know you couldn't set your own publication date. I did not know gutters or margins or bleed. There's
all of that.
So that video is coming out just the week before yours of just all the mistakes I've ever made in hopes that other people will make fewer mistakes.
Yes. I mean, we're all going to make mistakes, but I had no idea what any of that was. I just knew, I'm going to write this book and somehow it's going to get on Amazon. It's going to get on these places and it's going to sell or not going to sell, but I'm going to get it up there. And I didn't even think about that. Like that wasn't even in my thought process. It was like, I'm going to write a book. I knew I had to get it illustrated. That was it. So when they ask you all these questions, I'm like, I don't know. What is it that I'm Googling? Like, what's the normal size? What is this? Yeah, it's definitely a process. I'm still learning. Again, I'm still learning. I think that I've corrected the majority of the mistakes that I did on the first book. And I'll probably see something after the fact when it comes out, when it's published, and be like, I should have did that. And then I'll note that and I'll put that on the third book. So it's always something new to learn because things are always evolving and times are changing, more technology. So I'm sure that I will miss something and correct it in the next time. I'm giving myself grace. And that's a big thing for a newbie author and a self-publisher. You have to give yourself grace because you're going to make mistakes, not intentionally. Some might be, but definitely got to give yourself grace or you will stop and be like, I knew it. I knew this wasn't for me. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. So please, if you are out there and you will say, I'm going to take the leap, give yourself grace every turn, every moment, because that will save your mental health. I promise you. And it will save you from quitting because even the most seasoned authors are not perfect. That is one of my biggest things to tell someone who's on the fence. Give yourself grace during the publishing process, because you're going to encounter some times where you're just going to be like, is this really for me?
And maybe there are possibilities of outsourcing some of those tasks, right? If it isn't something that is for you, there is someone out there that does formatting as a job. There is someone out there that does
Yes.
thing as a job and a book cover design as a job. So there's lots of tools out there. And
Yes.
even
Outsource it. It's okay. You can find it. Fiverr is excellent. They have a lot of people on there. All these places where you can get something done. I have utilized Fiverr on so many things, flyers, bookmarks, just anything that I can think of that I know that I'm not great at, or I feel like I'm okay, but I really want it to look a certain way. I have no problem. The prices are reasonable. I'm not going to stress myself, especially at my big old age, about little things where someone else can do it for me and make my vision come to life. So yeah, if you got to pay somebody to do it, I promise you it's going to save you a lot of headache in the long run.
it's kind of empowering too. Every time I've used Fiverr, you get this little email that says like work is being done, or you're like the work is being done. And
Yes,
like, I'm usually not doing that work and feeling like someone's doing that work. Like that's so empowering
it
too.
is. And like, I don't have to do it. I have somebody who's doing it for me and I know it's going to be done right. And then I can say, okay, no, I want this and I want that. And it is. I got a new illustrator and I actually had to like negotiate, like negotiations. And it was just so weird to me because this was my first time negotiating. So she did some work for me and she gave me like a sample and I was like, you're great. Okay, we're going to do this book. And then since Peyton is a book series, I want you to do the other. So we had to come to an agreement. I had to get a contract together, put all these stipulations and pay dates and this. And even though it was very overwhelming and I've never had to do that for me, it was empowering. Like I'm negotiating and I can say, no, I need her to look this way and that way. And you have to do it because of you. So yeah, it is. I can honestly say at that moment, I was like, wow, this is really something I'm doing. I'm going to pay you this amount of money for something that I want to come to life. And you have to do it in the way that I envision it. And it is empowering. It really is. So me sending that contract, I sent it to DocuSign and everything. So yeah, I was super psyched. I'm not even gonna lie. That was a moment for me, like, wow, this is real. And everything happened so quickly. Like I didn't know I was gonna have a book out in February when I just said in January. Like that's my year goal. And now it's March and I'm working on my second book, already thinking about the third book and what I'm going to put out before the end of the year. So it's amazing. I mean, yes, it's overwhelming. Yes, I'm just like, it's crazy, but I'm loving every moment of it.
And at the very beginning of the call, it was, what are you going to do that's going to bring you purpose? And what are you going to do that's going to have that passion? And since the very beginning of the call, it has been nothing but purpose and passion. So, yeah, it's hard work. And yes, it's time. And yes, it's overwhelming, but in all the best ways.
All the best ways. I'm actually loving. This is all I want to do, but I'm not in the position to do that. I do have to work my 9 to 5, but this is all I really want to do. I spend all my time figuring out what can my next book be? How can I market the next book, or what kind of resources that I can give to parents to help diversify their libraries for their kids. I'm trying to think of just like different things that I can do. And I enjoy doing that. It's just such a great feeling going on author visits, reading to the little kids, doing career fairs at school as an author and not as my 9 to 5. It's amazing. It's like, is it really happening to me? Like, I couldn't imagine this in October. I didn't even think I would have a book out right now. You know what I'm saying? Once you step out on faith and things start to happen, like they happen so quickly. It was just you holding yourself back. The moment was waiting for you. And once you do it, you're just like, dang, things are really opening up for me. I love it. I mean, I really feel like this is my purpose and I'm just going to keep going with it.
So,
Definitely.
so cool and so inspiring, because I feel that the women who are going to be watching these videos, or the women who are going to be called to watch these videos, are really going to be the ones on the fence, not really sure, and not able to see that future for themselves. Because I know for myself, before I started taking action and faith that I couldn't even see it, that it could get better, that it could be better, that my life could change in a good way that wasn't more of the past. And so I feel already that the people who are going to be watching are going to see like, oh, it can.
It can. And you look up in a moment and you're like, wow, I'm in what I've actually always wanted. I'm in what I prayed for. Like I'm in it. I'm like, I'm right in it. And you don't even realize it. And then for a moment, you're like, wow, I didn't even know it could be like, I didn't even know it could happen this quickly. Yes, it happened when I'm in my 40s, but it's actually happening. And sometimes I don't even realize that, but then sometimes I'm just like, wow, how did I get here? Because I could tell you 5 months ago, this was not what I was expecting. Like I didn't even think about this. This being on podcast and, calling myself an author, winning an award, like it's none of this was in my mind. Like I'm telling you, but once you move and just step out on that faith for like just do it. I mean, oh my God, the things that have opened up for me, it's amazing. It really is amazing. I can't even say it's been a bad experience. It's just one of those things that I'm just like so grateful for that I pray, Lord, please don't let me mess this up. I don't want to mess this up. I don't want to go ahead of you. I don't want to do any of those things. I'm here and I'm loving it. Just guide me the right way because this is good. I like it. I just feel like if you step out on that faith and just take a chance, you will not be sorry. You will not. Because if it's something that's just gnawing at you, that means that you should be doing it. You should be doing it. You shouldn't even second guess. You should not even be second guessing. You should be just figure it out. And don't think about being perfect. Jump in, do it, and you'll swim. I promise you, you'll swim. Definitely.
I'm like cheering up. That's such a beautiful place to end on with such beautiful encouragement. And I just want to say thank you again. I have to recover from
No,
our healing.
I am so glad that people even ask me to come on their podcast or to speak about things because to me, I just feel like I'm an older lady who's, following her dream and just doing my own little thing over here. But I have to realize that my message or my story can encourage someone else. There could be another person who feels like they're in a spot in their life where they can't follow their dreams. And they don't have to be 46. They could be 25 and just in different circumstances. I feel like it's just bleak and this is where I'm supposed to be. And it's really not. You can follow your dreams regardless of your situation, your age, your circumstances. It's so possible. You just got to keep going after it. And if something is gnawing at you, telling you you should be doing something, you probably should be doing it. You know what I'm saying? Don't delay what God is ready to give you and just keep thinking about your own circumstances and what could be. You'll never know what could be if you don't try. So these are lessons that it took me years to learn. I promise you, like 5 months ago, I wouldn't be telling you this. I'd be like, I'm too old. But no, I have a totally different perspective. And maybe it was meant for me to gain knowledge and be an older, seasoned person to realize you don't have to be in a particular circumstance for you to follow your dreams. So I just say, it's God's timing. This was my time. And I think I'm prepared to handle whatever he has to give me. Because maybe 5 months ago, I wouldn't been. So I am in a great place and I'm so excited to just keep writing and letting people know about Peyton, her adventures, and just keep on the journey. That's it. That is all I want to do. And hopefully I'll get to a point where I can just do it full time.
Yeah, I'll be hoping
Prayers
for
up.
that for you as well.
Prayers up for that.
Yes, absolutely. Can you tell everybody where they can find you and find your books?
So my book is on Amazon. The first book is Peyton's First Day at a New School. It's on Amazon. And the second book will be out June 4th. You guys are the first to know because I haven't told anybody that. June 4th. And it's the second installment of the Peyton Journey series. And I'm super excited about it because, again, I get to right all my wrongs from the first book. And I'm just excited. And I am on Instagram as author Paula Banks. And I'm on Facebook too, not over there all the time, but I'm under there at Paula Y. Banks. And my website is paulaYbanks.com. So those are all the places you can find me, but I'm mostly on Instagram, scrolling around.
Thank you so much. And thank you for being here.
I appreciate you for having me. I promise you it's such an honor because, again, I didn't think I was doing anything special, but you make me see that I am, and I appreciate it, though. It feels good, though. It feels good.
Thank you. That makes me feel good. All right. Well, I'll send us off with that. And thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us on another interview here at Project Seed Money. I do hope you will subscribe and be a member of our channel and continue to support us. If you are an author or industry professional and would like to be interviewed for this channel, please reach out to me directly at sharissa@projectseedmoney.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.